breaking a sweat as we jump on into the base of the Red Terran. In the top right-hand side, guaranteed first in this group already, looking for that perfect score. This is Clem.
Looking for that perfect score indeed. Bottom left-hand side of the map, it is GunGFuBanDa. Okay, the band is not too keen on him, I see.
Just like, yeah, cut this guy. Hopefully not cutting them as short as they think. Maybe thinking that's how short the games are going to get cut, right?
The drummer was just doing one-hand maneuvers there.
It's like, GunGFuBanDa. I was like, oh.
So would you really be super surprised if Clem defeated GunGFuBanDa 2-0 without breaking a sweat worthy, where he's looking perfect?
No. I mean, that's the thing when you talk about Clem games, right? Because Clem can absolutely have a series where he shows up, absolutely destroys, gets the momentum both games, gets in his opponent's head, is everywhere his opponent isn't, and just wins, right? That's what makes Clem such a terrifying player to play against. But he does have these games, I'd say, it used to be in TVT, now it's a bit more in TVP, I'd say, lately, where he gets in good spots, but then he kind of, weird things kind of happen and he doesn't get control. His aggression gets shut down, and it kind of feels like he maybe stumbles and doesn't quite know what to do next, And those are the games where I really think that Clem can either struggle to win, or maybe that's where GunGFuBanDa steals a map.
Definitely. All to the point that I think Clem is going to bring his A game here. He's going to try his best. And I mean, his best looks amazing right now, right? I would say he's the only player that comes close to Searle and Raynor in terms at least of recent results and just the power of the punch that they pack, right? Like their potential, it seems. A lot of people like to talk about Big Gabe in that conversation, for example, but I feel like Clem has a little bit more of that element, that hunger.
Yeah, I think the thing is with Clem is he just played in so much lately, and he performed in so much because of it. And while Kieran Breen shows up to the ESL Weekly Cups every week, that's like once a week, and then Clem's here like all week long just beating people down, and that level of consistency is super impressive to come in day by day and just be so good. And then people also say, well, Clem loses to some of these players, and it's like, well, yeah, but he's also playing so much that of course sometimes you're going to have a bad day, a bad series, you get tired out, maybe you bid off one more tournament and then you could really swallow. So yeah, I'm kind of up there with you that Clem has had, it's definitely kind of, for me, the player who's getting closer to Searle and Raynor, but there's actually quite a few contenders, and we really need to see Clem kind of get a bigger tournament win to really kind of cement that idea in a lot of people's minds, I think.
Yeah, and I think he's looking for it here. I mean, he's looking for the perfect start, the perfect run that kind of rivals Searle, who was earlier disappointed at his one loss or his couple of his one loss, I guess, in the group stage. Oh no!
Oh, that's a dead Reaper.
Did he get the scout?
At least he has the Hellion, and at least he already kind of got in for information. Did he actually see the Twilight? He did. He did. Yeah, he's okay. Like, losing the Reaper's not so bad, considering it's 4 minutes in game. If this is like, Reaper just arrived at like 240 and you lose it like that, that's really bad. But this is, Reaper's already done the majority of the jobs it was meant to.
Indeed. Now, with the Blink coming up, I was also not sure if he saw the Twilight. That's pretty important, right? You see 2 Stalkers, you see a Twilight. Do you anticipate Blink is the most likely
I think so. Blink's just so common nowadays. It's just very rare for it not to be. Obviously, you can see a Dark Shrine sometimes, but I especially think against GunGFu, I think he's really expecting this to be Blink, and he has a Raven anyways in case it is a Dark Shrine, right? So his build kind of is covering every real possibility. Is GunGFu going to get 2 SCVs in this main? This Adept gets out alive as well. Hey, this has been a good couple minutes for GunGFu.
Very nice Adept. It's not just 2 SCVs, but 2 that were building the barracks, so that'll slow the production down of Clem, as well as, force a few extra actions here and there. So really nice job by GunGFu, who gets away with the Adept. Impressive start.
Yeah, this is nice. Obviously, just little things like that definitely add up. This Hellion doing its duty of confirming the 3rd base timing. That's very important to know how much pressure is coming your way. GunGFu is adding a lot of Stalkers, considering this is a 3rd Nexus and 3 gates already. So just coming across the map with 8 Stalkers, I guess that's not super high. What's great for him is he saw a lot of information with the Adept, so he knows there isn't really anything coming his way like a Widowmine drop, so he can push these Stalkers across the map and already have them in an aggressive position, and that makes it a little bit tougher for Clem here to deal with this.
Oh, what do you think about the Raven? Is this enough? Is GunGfu going in?
Yeah, GunGfu should not jump into this. There's no way. 2 Marauders, Siege Tank. I mean, the Siege Tank fires, the Marauders get like 3 kills like in the next 5 seconds before it blinks back at least. And you don't want to lose your Stalkers because he wants to build up into the Colossi, and every Stalker he rebuilds slows that down. And this is nice though. He's finding openings, and this is what's so great about getting that information. He's now on the map in an aggressive stance, so if he sees those opportunities, he can seize them and make the most of it and extend the lead in the game.
Here comes the Raven, though, for Clem into the third of GunGfu. And this is an awesome Raven because in spite of the move out, it is happening. And he's going to choose to drop 1 turret here and 1 turret on the natural so that he forces evacuation or control at both expansions. So he's going to get 2 probes and the army pulled back. Really nice job there by Clem. I love that he sees a move out and his decision is to be aggressive at the same time rather than I need every unit here. He had seen the third too.
I mean, you just don't need the Raven at home either, right? It's one of those things where what does it really achieve? A defensive auto turret. He knew he was very safe against this anyway. Here comes the big push. This is a real kind of teller of how this game's going to go, because this is the kind of push where if GunGfu miscontrols or has messed up his build somewhere along the way, he can absolutely just roll over and die now. But if it's held off well, you really get to see kind of the fight that GunGfu has in him. This Raven being annoying, hasn't popped another auto turret yet. A nice attempt to delay the third base from building, but will not quite get it.
You gotta love the Raven just showing at the natural to give space for these units to, or at the third to give space for the units to push into the natural. So now Clem with a really nice position. He has only 1 tank, but a few Widow Mines as well for the siege.
A little bit afraid that, you know, GunGfu only has 1 Colossus at the moment. Nice force field. A lot of the Marines will go down. And a lot of these fights happening kind of out of range of the tanks. There's only really Zealots getting hit by the tank, which isn't super amazing. And I kind of feel like this is GunGfu holding this off. He's going to start going for this now. The Widow Mines might make a difference, though, as a lot of the Zealots are going to get hit and hit hard. And now there's not much left without the Zealots in front. He dives in, gets the Immortal. Stalkers will drop quickly, splitting a few units ahead to try and split up the damage. I mean, the Colossi are doing a great job target firing down Marines.
Yeah, but I think Clem has to be kind of happy with that trade. He minimized losses, and he has established his own third as well. So I think this looks pretty good for him. He's going to pull ahead a little bit in supply. He would have definitely liked to kill... Oh, this could be huge, though.
Yeah, dropping the main base as well.
Oh, no.
This is the issue with having lost so much from GunGFuBanDa, right? As probes are going to get killed. He's going to save both Widow Mines. You lose so much in that fight out the front, and if you lose that much, all of a sudden you don't have units everywhere you need to defend, and now this drop comes back into play, more probes going down, and this is what happens when you let Clem play his game. When you give Clem a slight advantage, he's in an aggressive stance. He will just go for the throat, and he will just not stop. And now Clem is in prime position to take this, and it's all because GunGfu overextended into the Widow Mines.
Yeah, and Clem does everything so well, so quickly, and at the same time, he's so strategical about his decisions, right? Like, he picks up both units. He sends the medevacs in opposite directions. So if you're GunGfu, your brain has to be scrambled for a second, but you don't have time for scrambling because you have Marauders being dropped at your third at the same time, right? It's just like so many good decisions in quick succession. It's not like, you know, you look at any of these decisions and they're simple but good decision to make. It's the fact that he makes them so quickly. And the dance with each other that makes the decision so awesome.
I look at Clem's spot now. He's up an armor upgrade. He's got Ghost Academy about to finish, so he's getting future tech while staying aggressive, and that's the scariest part of Clem. You know, he's never just all in on this next attack. He's always got the next stage building up, so if he doesn't do enough here, well, you're in trouble again. He's still got these Widow Mines that came in with that initial drop as well. They're just sat around a little bit sloppy here, but I mean, that's the first kind of real, mistake from Clem we've seen in a while. So that's, that's forgivable, I think, because he's also moved this army around into a good spot. And I think he just says, I've got enough here to somewhat fight. He'll play it safe. He'll kind of let the Widow Mines be there to kind of get rid of a few Zealots. And he's doing a great job of it, right? Clean out a lot of Zealots for free. And again, he doesn't need to fight because he's already got Ghosts and more Vikings on the way. So he'll probably just back away and be very happy with the position he's keeping GunGFuBanDa in, because he can't GunGfu break out to a fourth base at all.
Yeah, Clem has been so good every game that I've seen him really at baiting into those Widow Mine shots. He doesn't just set up the Widow Mines and hopes that his opponent goes in there. He'll always be playing mind games, standing on top of one, burrowing one to bait attacks and so on and so forth. He is just an impressive player. GunGFu is going to have his work cut out for him. What do you do if you're him at this point, Wardy? I like the Disruptor.
I mean, the Dark Shrine as well, right? It's all the right ideas for getting back into honestly a bit of a lost game. It's tough, you know, and the thing is, things like DTs and Disruptors, Clem's really good at playing against them, so they're by no means going to work out and be enough, but you have to try those kind of things, because otherwise you are just sat here letting Clem play his game. If you can get across the map with some of that aggression, with some of the pressure from DTs, maybe you distract him, you get a good Disruptor shot off. Those are the combinations that start getting you back from a negative like this, although the Raven might have been able to see that Dark Shrine as well. So, and by the way, that Raven still alive, just being so annoying.
It's insane that Clem is nearly or over 3,000 resources, 3.5k resources ahead in the cost effectiveness of his trades. Oh no! Make that. Never mind, make that 2k. And, that was actually a 1k swing. Huge hit by the Disruptor, but he's gonna need a few more of those. Another Disruptor now pulling from the back, but a Colossus falls in the process. I was gonna say that the game of Clem that you're mentioning, it really seems like something like Death by 1,000 Cats, right? Like any one of these attacks on their own, whatever, not game losing, a little bit of a poke, but you start adding them up, and he's accruing a big advantage in spite of Disruptor shots like that one.
For sure, and that's why it was so bad for GunGFu to fall a little bit behind earlier as well, right? Because then Clem does just do this. He just chips away at you little by little, and you need a big, eventually by the time you get a chance to get back in the game, you need a huge victory. And that's so hard to come by because, again, Clem's so good. Is he going to make a mistake enough to let you get that much damage? Well, it's unlikely. And there's so many things missing from this game, right? We've seen no Warp Prism to take DTs or Zealots across the map. That could be a great way to distract Clem. That could have slowed down his fourth base. It could have been harassment in the mineral line. It could have pulled back this army. It just feels like that's how far behind GunGFu's been, that only just now are we seeing some harassment across the map. And it's not even with a Warp Prism. It's just a couple DTs wandering across.
Yeah, let's see what GunGFu does have a lot of these Disruptors. They have been EMP'd, so they can be focus fired like you said. The Ghosts are not particularly good at splitting, not compared to Stimmed Marines. So we'll see if GunGFu is able to do something. Well, one Liberator zoning everything out. Two now in the process of doing that same thing. And Disruptors push on forward. But my God, this does not look too good, Wardy.
The split from Clem was so good. He just constantly dodged every Disruptor, went a few different ways. And GunGFuBanDa gives us the GG as Clem will indeed take that game number 1, putting himself ahead in the series. But I think it's really important to note that there was 2 phases of this game. There was the first phase up until that fight where he pushed out into the Widow Mines. But GunGFuBanDa actually looked really good. He felt like he was controlling things. He was dealing damage. He was getting good options. And honestly, he was defending well as well until he pushed out. And that was the moment where he lost just a little bit too much. And Clem just flicked the switch and says, right, now I can drop you here. I'm going to drop you there. I'm going to keep this Widow Mine here. The Raven's going to keep coming back as well. And those are the things you just don't win against a Clem who gets in that kind of position. You win against a Clem who you defend against, and then you have some more control for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Clem, like you said, I mean, he just completely took control of that game, and it didn't feel like GunGFu was able to do anything to get out of his base, to get in his opponent's face, to cause some discomfort, right? So it was just Clem playing his game the entire time. A very one-sided game 1, I would say. So it's looking pretty scary for the German Protoss.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's he needs to step it up a little bit because it's all well and good playing the first 7 minutes of the game very well, but those are the easiest minutes of the game to play very well as well. So he needs to step it up a little bit. He needs to bring that mid-game power. Otherwise, he is going to be in some trouble here in this group. Again, it's not necessarily a must-win until the Bly Spats result comes in. But you may as well assume that that's a must-win from GunGFu's point. And actually, I'm just checking some scores. Bly currently 1-0 over Spats. So that does make this a little bit of a must-win then for GunGFuBanDa.
Definitely. I mean, the chances are low for Spats, I think, especially going up against a tricky player like Bly, who, if Bly has a mathematical chance of advancing or making $100, he will take it 100 times out of 100. So... yeah, gonna be a difficult one for Spats there for sure.
Absolutely. As we get into our game number 2 in the bottom left-hand side, our Red Terran from Team Liquid up 1-0. This is Clem.
Top right-hand side, it is the blue Protoss player, GunGFuBanDa for Cascade. All right.
Band stepped up and
going up now,
yeah.
He can work off of this.
I'm glad we've got some band analysis going on at the start of these games. Feels,
I mean,
important
really,
for
like
sure.
imagine going into a stage and you hear the band for one person or the crowd just completely go crazy, roar, and then for you it's near nothing of a reaction. It's just, how can you win?
I mean,
So-
it's kind of like home and away, right? But the thing is, in StarCraft, you never really play home versus away, so it shouldn't be a thing.
Indeed. Well, this probe is definitely not home worthy. He is away, or she. And it'll scout what's going on.
Yeah, gonna get in here. SCV gonna take a few shots of damage. And the Reaper from Clem starting up. No surprises here just yet. Cybercore before the Nexus. Very standard, that probe. Gonna try and delay the command center a few more moments if possible. But Clem has both these SCVs down here early. So it's looking to be alright.
I guess the pylon's near never worth it just because the CC can just be built on a slightly off position, right?
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, sometimes you can, but I think as well, it messes with your build. You know, you're ready to put down the Nexus. You need a pylon at home as well. If it's like, in certain scenarios, maybe you could get away with it, but for the build he's, GunGFu's doing 100 minerals, even for like a few seconds to then cancel, it costs a lot. It really does.
Most def. All right. We'll see what happens here. GunGFu with a very Reaper. I love this probe. Gotta love it.
Yeah, just staying on the map.
Finding a really nice cliff as well. It's gonna find all the transit of the units and near impossible to scout to spot, right? So it's like a baby watchtower.
Yeah, baby watchtower on a map which has no watchtowers. I like it. Why don't we have mini Zalnaga watchtowers? That'd be a fun addition.
What would it do?
It's just the same as the Zalnaga, just reveals less space. Maybe.
So like between a unit and a Zalnaga, because the unit already
Yeah,
reveals
that's
space for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
It would have to be like the unit is like baby range of vision, but that watchtower would have to do something else. Or they could have giant watchtowers, but that would be kind of broken. Terran kind of has
that would be
giant
terrible.
watchtowers.
Yeah, we don't want to give even more vision. There's a reason watchtowers aren't used anymore anyways, really, or as often as they used to be.
Completely agree. So do you think that they should remove the sensor tower there? Is that what you're saying, Wardy? You're a Terran player,
The sensor tower? No, the sensor tower is a nice ability. Terrans don't even use it that much anyway, right?
Wait, what? That goes against everything you said. I don't believe a word from you, Wardy.
It's a big investment. 100 gas. It's very vulnerable, easily targeted down. Yeah,
Very
if you want to
vulnerable.
play around it, just walk around the edges of it.
That is true. That is
they have, like,
that is
six.
how you play around it.
Hey, these are 3 gates from GunGFuBanDa with no tech until just now, so that generally means very heavy aggression because he's just got a lot of warpins available, and that's a nice block on the Hellion as well, and that means he can bring everything across the map without any threat of run by. So yeah, if he wants to go and get aggressive here, this could work out well. Clem has a bunker up, has a few Marines in it. Obviously, if the Adept shade past the bunker, they can absolutely force a dangerous fight. And you can see Clem's respecting this, adding the engineering bay on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Clem will see the 2 gateways on the low ground and assume a 3rd gateway on the high ground, I imagine. So it's going to be a good defense, it looks like, from the French player, not really underestimating anything.
Yeah, it's just very safe, right? Setting off this wall, making sure he's going to be safe. I don't really see a world in which these Adepts come in. Clem kind of believed for a moment, but the Raven's also there, the tank's there, so GunGFu just aware of the fact he's not going to get much done. Which, okay, so then the 3 gates, they obviously mean that he's on a much later blink, and his tech in general is delayed. And what did he really achieve here? Well, honestly, I want to say not that much. You know, it's not like Clem invested into anything. Yeah, I guess so. But you can get a 3rd base this quickly with the Blink Stalkers anyway, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I guess Adepts are not too expensive either, right? Like compared to Stalkers, maybe he has a little bit more gas to work with. I don't know how early the 3rd normally is. But
yeah,
I guess
like
maybe
4
there's
minutes.
little upside.
Yeah, he's still not going to commit. Yeah, I wonder if it's maybe because of the fact he's afraid of Clem going for like something like a Hellion drop on this map, or something where he feels like he needs to be the defender right away and then can counter pressure. That's maybe an option as well. A few ways it can work as he catches the Raven. Doesn't kill it, but gets it low. Problem is, low doesn't really mean much when this Raven's going to be so well hidden pretty much throughout this anyway. He's got that airspace in the top right as well, so he'll just go up there, and that gives him the choice of the main or natural mineral line to attack.
Oh, what a nasty. So GungFu, I like that he anticipated, you know what, I'm not going to get to the natural in time, just evacuate and walk the stalkers to the third to the main instead. Really nice move by him there.
Huh? Yeah,
Blink is just about to finish.
And with the Blink, usually you'd be like, okay, time to get some map control. He does have the 7 stalkers to help out. He actually ended up losing the Adepts. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he lost the Adepts, and he didn't kill anything, by the way. Not a single unit.
This move out. It looks like it would have been through the squad then.
That hurts.
There's the one Marine that tanked most of the Adept shots, it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, the Adepts are meant to be very... Oh my, he catches the Observer too. The Adepts are at least meant to be a front line to these Stalkers, right? But now Stalker's not in position to slow this push down. Stim's already done. Combat Shield is here, +1. I actually think this is a terrifying attack for GunGFuBanDa to defend against. I mean, he's going to have a third base with very few units on it. Basically just some Stalkers. Charge isn't done either, and that's another big feature.
Yeah, I mean, the Adepts could have served as somewhat of a Ling Rambai of sorts, right? Keep that third honest, but right now, Clem is doing this without a care in the world and with a safe third to fall back to should this fail. So I really like this. Good positioning on the tanks. The mines yet again. It's only usually one or very few tanks and predominantly mines. How do you feel about this? Oh, nice. GunGFuBanDa, first time in the last couple of games, really, that he gets something on the other side.
Yeah, that's really nice. Unfortunately, the Zealots didn't have charge right away. They've got it now at least, and it will force Clem to kind of pay attention there, but I feel like he dealt with a lot of the Zealots before charge was done, and that's obviously bad because otherwise that could have been even scary, even more workers killed. Clem is still just focused here. He's going to kill the third base. GungFu has to go for this. Now he's going to commit after the third lose. He's going to run into all these Widow Mines. Clem's just going to turn and fight. He'll chase those Zealots down. The Immortal's barely going to get a chance to fire here, and Clem looking fantastic in game number 2. He will get blinked on. He'll just stand here and trade out. Stalkers are so expensive. Yeah, not good for GungFu.
Yeah, this is just not good. I think maybe he was trying to buy time for that Immortal to pop out. I didn't like that he engaged after the base has already fallen, like you were pointing out. I mean, he does get a little bit more space to fan out his units against some of that AoE once the Nexus is done. So I appreciate that he tried to punish. But even then, maybe just wait for the Immortal. I don't know. It's just looking so difficult, man.
Yeah, and I mean, GungFu is completely all in behind this. He's not rebuilding the third base or anything. He's just going to warp in more Zealots to this fight. Widow Lines burrowing in on top of the Stalkers. They're going to have to blink micro back out of that, but he blows up the Immortal in the process, and Clem's actually just microing around chasing Stalkers. He says, eventually I'm going to get the Zealots. That's not an issue. GG.